Hi guys, happy Monday. Just getting situated. Oh, we still have some people coming in. I'm gonna get started in just a moment for everyone at home on Zoom. Hi, oh, you're good. Just grab a card.
I signed in on the app.
Okay, perfect. All right, we're gonna start in child's pose. So if everyone at home and in the studio wants to get situated on your mat. If child's pose is something that is a little bit difficult for your body starting out, you can bring the knees together rather than wide and take it similar to a, what am I looking for? You just bring the knees together. I don't know yet. It's Monday. And if child's pose is comfy for you, you can bring the big toes together and spread the knees wide and then just drop the chest down. And then before we get started, do we have any requests in the studio for tonight? Just some yoga? Okay. So I'm gonna go over a few announcements before we get started while you guys get situated. So we've got the challenge going on. So if you guys are challenging, amazing. You guys are strong, that's awesome. Rest when you need to rest. Take breaks when you need to. It's a lot to do yoga 30 days in a row, but you can do it. There's a ton of free yoga classes this month for all of our teacher trainers that are graduating. So check out the schedule. Most of them are in both New Smyrna and Port Orange. They do count as a challenge and they're free. So bring a friend who's never tried yoga. We've got a roller workshop on Saturday in Port Orange with Gail. There's a Black Friday sale coming up, so just keep an eye out for that. And Kula is having our Christmas party at Painting with a Twist on December 19th. And of course, students, teachers, everyone is welcome. Okay. So we'll get started. So if you're not in child's pose or something that's comfortable for you, similar to child's pose, come there now. And then just start to take a scan of the body. Noticing the mental, physical, spiritual. How does it feel? Checking in with that. How is the breath? How are the thoughts? Or tension or tightness in the body? You feel loose and stretchy. And then of course, no judging, just noticing. Monday, getting back in the swing of things. So just how do you feel? Taking note. And starting to focus on the breath, no manipulation yet, just noticing. And then walk your fingertips a little bit farther out. Nice stretch in the armpit. And then on your exhale, we're going to sigh it all out and start a few cleansing breaths together. So on your exhale, just let it all out. And then on your inhale, inhaling through the nose, slowly filling the belly, the chest, the throat, all the way to the crown of the head. And then part the lips, sigh it out, let it go. And then two more like that. So inhaling through the nose, nice and slow, filling up every little crevice, crawling up the spine to the crown of the head. And then when you get there, part the lips, sigh it out, let it go. And then one more like that, moving with your breath. So filling it all the way up. And then when you get to the top, pause, take another sip of breath air in. And then exhale, side out, let it go. And then on your next inhale, you'll inhale through the nose. So keeping that nice, deep, long inhale. But with the exhale, you'll exhale through the nose as well. So we'll start our Ujjayi breathing. It's the most common breathing in yoga. It's that nice constriction of the back of the throat, a nice audible breath. So if all you do for the next 60 to 75 minutes is this breathing, you're doing yoga. You did the hardest part by showing up on your mat. The next part is just doing the yoga. So it doesn't have to be anything more than breathing. Maybe you're able to link some movement with that breath. But the most important is the breath. So as you flow through your practice, you start to notice the breath has gone shallow or rigid. Come out of the pose just a little bit. Come back to the breath. It's not about how deep you are in the pose. It's about how long you can make the breath. So focusing on that for the next 3 breaths. And 2 more breaths. One more breath. On your next inhale, walk the hands over to the right side. So maybe you bring the left hand on top of the right and then anchor down that left armpit. So just taking a nice side stretch here. And on your inhale, come back to center and walk it over to the left. This time, maybe you bring your right hand on top of your left and then anchor down that right armpit. Breathing into the side body. And then on your next inhale, walk it back to center. Come forward, rounding into a tabletop position. So you're stacking the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. You want a nice hip distance with the knees. And then we're going to drop the belly down, look up. And then on your exhale, round the spine, push the mat away. Inhale, drop the belly, pull the chest through, look up. Exhale, round the spine, push the mat away. 3 more, moving with your breath. One more. And once you're done, we'll meet back in a neutral tabletop position. We're gonna ground through the left hand and rotate over. So we're gonna bring the left leg out and the right leg back, coming into a modified side plank. So reach that right arm up and over the head. So you're really stretching through that side body. And then grounding that left hand into the mat, root the right foot, lift the knee into the chest. Nice core. And then drop it back down. Come back into a tabletop position. Take a nice inhale, drop the belly down, look up. And then exhale, round the spine, push the mat away. Inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop. And then we're going to take it over to the right side. So rounding or rooting into the right, bringing that right foot back, grounding into the left foot, lifting the left arm high, modified side plank. And then reach the left arm up and over the head. So you're really stretching through that side body. And then ground through the right hand, root into the foot, lift that knee. Exhale, drop it down. Come back to a tabletop position. Nice. So moving with your breath, nice and slow. We're gonna tuck the toes and hover the knees. So we're in that tabletop position, but we're just floating. Engagement of the core. 3, 2, 1. Lift the hips high, push the feet down, downward facing dog. So you can wiggle or move in your down dog if you'd like, just finding some space here. So spreading the fingertips wide, really rounding and pulling the elbows in. And if you need to, bend the knees. This gives you a little space. And then when you're ready, come high to the toes. We're gonna keep the shoulders square, but we're gonna bend the knees and drop the hips to the left side. So this is a nice, big, deep side stretch in the right. 2 breaths here. And the more you bend in the knees, the deeper you can get into that hip. And then inhale, come back to center. So you're back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to the toes. And then drop the hips, bend the knees, drop the hips to the right side. So shoulders are square. Maybe you look under that left armpit. 2 breaths. 1 more breath here. And then come back to center, drop the heels down, keep the knees bent if you need to. And then we're gonna walk the hands back, coming into a forward fold. So walking the hands back to the feet. And then root the left hand in front of the feet, bend the left knee, lift the right arm high, twist. 2 breaths here. One more breath. Then exhale, release the right hand down, bend the right knee, plant the right hand, lift the left arm up, twist to the other side. So moving nice and slow and controlled, allowing the breath to guide you. 2 breaths here. One more breath. And then on the exhale, release the hand down. Walk the hands out, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. So I like to, we'll take 3 breaths here. I like to tell everyone in the beginning or the start of my class that I'm just here to guide you, to offer some suggestions that maybe you connect the breath with the movement that I suggest. We are about halfway through the 30-day challenge, so your body may need something that I'm not suggesting, or maybe what I suggest is not what your body needs. Listen to your body. Make it your practice. You're here for you. That's the most important. So do what you need. 1 nice deep breath here. And on the inhale, come high to the toes, tippy toe all the way to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to the toes. Step or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 more like that. So inhale, come high to the toes, step or hop to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. 2 more. Inhale, high to the toes. Step or hop. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle all the way. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hop it back, high to low. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high to the toes. Step or hop to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more, high to the toes, step or walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle all the way. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step it back, high to low. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Drop to the knees if you need to and take child's pose. Remember your practice. What do you need? No one cares what you look like. Does it make their practice better if you're in down dog or vice versa? So as we build fire in the body, the breath starts to become shallow. Connect back to it. Try to slow the heart rate by slowing the breath. One more breath here. On your exhale, we're gonna walk tippy toe all the way, nice and slow, plugging the hip, the leg into the hip with every step. And when you get to the top, inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly circle all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Close the eyes, release the hands down, mountain pose. So really grounding through the feet, the 4 corners of the feet, and feeling the earth beneath you. Feeling the heartbeat, maybe the body swaying. It's great to feel the heartbeat. It reminds us we're alive. 2 breaths here. Inhale, slowly blink the eyes open, circle the arms up. And then exhale, flat back, forward fold. And then inhale, flat back. We're gonna root into the left foot so much that the right becomes light, we can kick it back. So we're like in a modified warrior 3. Hands still on the mat, and then square off the hips. Drop the back right foot down. Inhale, crescent lunge. Then everyone bring your hands to your hips. Take a micro bend in that right back leg so you can pull the right hip forward. And then maybe from there, then you extend the right leg back. And then inhale the arms high. Then sink a little bit deeper into that front leg. Feeling the hip flexor, feeling you are strong. Taking a nice smile here. And settling into the pose. So the first round will move a little bit slower, taking a few breaths in each movement. And then we'll speed it up as we go through. So 3 breaths here. 2, 1. On your exhale, drop the back heel down, open it up, warrior 2. So back, arch, front heel alignment. You want to pull the legs together, so it's going to pull the pelvis up and in, then pull the chest back a little bit, and then sink deeper into that front leg. Then as you're sinking into that front leg, you're pulling the left hip, the left knee out towards that pinky toe. So all at the same time, lots of things happening. Sink a little bit deeper. 3 breaths here. 2, 1. On the exhale, we're going to drop the front arm down. So left arm onto the knee, and then reach the right arm up and over. So side angle here. If you want to, you can bring the arm down to a block or the mat. Just same thing, pushing that knee open and out. 2 breaths here. One more breath. And then maybe you float that bottom arm, engagement of the core, stand it back up, warrior 2. Sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. And then we're gonna straighten out the front leg, hinging at the hips, reach it forward, triangle pose. So maybe the left hand meets the shin, a block, the mat, wherever you are in your practice. 3 breaths here. So settling into the pose. Connecting back to the breath. One more breath. And then inhale, slowly come up in that front leg, come back into warrior 2. And then we're gonna cartwheel the hands down, step it back, high plank pose. Hold for 3, 2, drop the knees if you need to. 1 more breath. On the exhale, hug the elbows in, slowly lower. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, hop, float, walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, flat back, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And then this time we're gonna root into the right foot. So root so much that the left becomes light. And then you're in a modified warrior 3. Hands on the mat, hips square. Then drop the left toes back. Inhale the arms high, crescent lunge. But bring your hands to your hips real quick. Take a micro bend in that back leg. Pull the left hip point forward. Then straighten out that back leg. Sink a little bit deeper into your crescent lunge. 5 breaths. You are strong. You are smiling. Maybe you close the eyes and you take it inward. It's the best way to practice. Test the balance, takes you out of the element where you actually are and into the body. 2 more breaths. Think a little bit deeper. 1 more breath. And then on this exhale, drop that back heel down, open it up, warrior 2. Okay, so same thing, energetically pulling the feet together, which lifts the hips up, pulls the pelvis up and in, pulls the chest back. Then we can sink a little bit deeper. Nice. 3 breaths here. So same thing, pulling that right knee out towards that right pinky toe. Still nice engagement of the core. 1 more breath. And on the exhale, we're gonna reach it forward, bring the right forearm to either the knee or the hand to the mat, side angle on the other side. And then reach the top arm up and over. 3 breaths here. Two more breaths. 1. Inhale it back up, warrior 2. Sink a little bit deeper. And then exhale, straighten out that front leg, hinging at the hips, reach the fingertips forward, and maybe the front arm meets the shin, block, or the mat. And then stack shoulders on top of one another. If your neck allows, maybe you look up. 3 breaths here. One more breath. And on the exhale, bend that front leg, come back, warrior 2. And then cartwheel the hands down, step it back, take a flow if you'd like, or meet us in downward facing dog. Your choice, your practice. Leave the ego out of it. And then once you're in downward facing dog, we'll come high to the toes and tippy toe, plugging the leg into the hip socket with each step. So we're almost floating to the top of the mat. And then once we get there, inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. All right, we're going through it again. So root into the right foot so much that the left foot becomes light. Drop the left foot, the toes back. Inhale, crescent lunge. 2 breaths. One more breath. And then open it up, warrior 2. 2 breaths here. One more breath. Then we're taking it to side angle. 2 breaths here. I think if I build the whole flow, you guys could do it on your own. It's probably harder than you think. I forget all the time. One more breath. Inhale, back up, warrior 2. Exhale, straighten that front leg, finding triangle pose. So hinging forward. Stacking the shoulders. 2 breaths here. One more breath. And this time on the exhale, we're gonna drop the hands down, shorten the stance a little bit, and revolve our triangle pose. So maybe the right hand just finds the back pocket, or maybe if you can take a deeper twist, you can lift that right arm high. 2 breaths here. One more breath. And then on the exhale, release the arms down. And we're gonna train track the toes forward, shorten the stance, finding pyramid pose. So first, inhale, flat back, and then exhale, fold over that front leg. One more like that, inhale, flat back, exhale, fold. 3 breaths here. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward. One more breath. And on the inhale, we're gonna lean forward, leaning into the right foot, the back foot flies. We're back into that modified warrior 3. Bend the front leg just a little bit, and then slowly inhale the hands to the chest for warrior 3. 3 breaths here. Your legs are strong. Slight up dog of the chest. Squaring off the hips. One more breath. On the exhale, drop the right hand down, open it up, half moon pose. So hips stack up on top of one another. You're opening up to the left side, shoulders stack. Maybe you lift the left arm high. 2 breaths here. If you fall out, come back. Then on your exhale, drop the left hand down, square off the hips, revolved half moon. So maybe the right hand comes to that back pocket, or maybe you lift it all the way up. 2 breaths. One more breath. And then exhale, drop the right hand down, square off the hips, back into that modified warrior 3. And then we're gonna bend the front leg, coming up into a standing. So standing knee to chest. I know your right leg's like, hey, I'm here, it's okay. 1 breath here. And when with the big your 2 pointer fingers, grab your big toe. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you open it up for hand to big toe. 2 breaths. Find a focal point, helps you balance. And then inhale, come back to center. And we're strong. We're gonna come into a standing pigeon pose. So we're gonna take the left ankle on top of the right knee. Maybe we stay here. Maybe we sit back into our chair pose. 3 breaths. You want to fly your pigeon, drop the hands down, bend into it, hook onto that arm, and then slowly try to lift that right leg. Not just stay where you are. 1 more breath. And then exhale, stand straight, shake out the legs. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, heel toe the feet about hip distance. And then inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. So 3 breaths here. A little recovery before we do the other side. You can take a nice deep bend in the knees here to find that compression. So you want to try to get the belly to the thighs. 2 breaths. One more breath. And on the exhale, drop the hands down. Inhale, flat back. Heel toe the feet back together. And I think we're rooting on the left side this time, right? Root into the left side so much that the right foot becomes light, or no? Okay. See, this is, you guys know where we're going. Okay, so you're in this modified warrior 3. Take a nice deep breath here, and then drop the back foot down. Inhale, crescent lunge. 2 breaths. So, you know, take those minor adjustments. There's no point of rushing into the pose if you're doing it wrong. Take your time, get there, and build from the base up. 1 breath. And then on your exhale, open it up, warrior 2. So technically, the only thing that should be moving is that back foot, but we're all made differently, so sometimes that doesn't work. Sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. Pull the chest back, so you're not too far forward or too far back, you're right centered. And then on your exhale, open it up, side angle. So shin to knee, forearm to knee, hand to the block or to a mat, and then reach that right arm up and over the head. 1 breath here. And then inhale it back up, warrior 2, straightening out that front leg, hinging at the hips, reaching forward. Hand meets the shin, a block or the mat, and stacking the shoulders, opening up to the right side. You want a little bit of a core exercise. Maybe you float that. Don't collapse. Float and actually engage the core. 1 breath here. And then exhale, slowly stand, bend into that front leg. Just kidding. Straighten out the front leg, come back into triangle pose. We're gonna revolve our triangle. So bring the right hand down, shorten the stance if you need to, and then pull the right hip point forward as you're rotating to the left. Maybe the left hand meets the back pocket, or you bring it up and stack the shoulders. 1 breath here. And then on the exhale, release the hands down, shorten the stance, train track the toes. So both toes are pointing forward, coming into pyramid pose. Inhale, flat back, and then exhale, fold over that front leg. Inhale, flat back, exhale, fold. 3 breaths. Two, 1. And then from here, we're gonna lean forward into that left foot, float that back leg, square off the hips, coming into warrior 3. Slight up dog of the chest, and then drop the right hip point down. Your legs are strong, you've got this, smile. 2 breaths. One more breath. If you fall, come out. Sometimes when I give you guys cues, they're actually for me. And then on the exhale, drop the left hand down, coming into half moon pose. So squaring off the hips, stacking the shoulders, opening up to the right side. Your leg may be shaking, it's okay. 2 breaths. One more breath. And then exhale, drop the right hand down, square off the hips, revolved half moon. 2 breaths here. So hips are square. You're rotating open to the left side. One more breath. And then exhale, we're gonna come into warrior 3. So square off the hips, float the hands, and then standing knee to chest. And hug the knee in. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you take your 2 pointer fingers, grab the big toe, and then open it up. Hand to big toe. 2 breaths. Finding that focal point. One more breath. And then the exhale, come back to center. And then stack that right ankle on top of the left knee, standing pigeon. Maybe you stay, or maybe you sit back into that chair pose. Same thing, if you want to fly, drop the hands down, hook onto that arm, and then slowly lift the leg. 2 breaths. One more breath. And then on the exhale, come back to standing, knee to chest, and then exhale, release it down, shake it out. Inhale, circle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And then exhale, just step it back, high plank. Drop the knees, drop the chest, the chin, all the way to the mat. Spread the arms wide. And then when you're ready, we're gonna roll over onto our right side. So we're taking a shoulder stretch here, also giving you guys a little bit of a break on the legs. Three breaths. So the breath should be just as audible now as it was in the beginning of the class before you got moving. So try to tap back into that. One more breath. And then on the exhale, roll back to center. And we're gonna roll over onto our left side. So stacking the shoulders and the hips. Then maybe you bring that top leg back as a little kickstand. Maybe you reach that top arm up and back, going for the bind, wherever you are in your practice. 3 breaths. Two. 1. On your exhale, slowly roll back to center, release. And then we're gonna find our way into child's pose. So if it's a little bit funky, just finding your way. So bringing your big toes together, your knees wide, dropping the chest down so your forehead meets the mat, and then bring the arms alongside the legs and grab the heels. Just taking 2 breaths here. Noticing how the mind, body, and spirit feels now. How is the breath? How is the mental clarity different now than it was at the beginning of class? Just noticing what a little bit of breath, movement, and sweat can do for the body and the mind. And then on the inhale, reach the fingertips forward, really, really forward. So nice big stretch. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high, point, flex, circle out the ankle. And then bend the knee, stack the hips on top of one another, look under that right armpit. We're gonna do some circles with the knee. Let's get into that hip before we start stretching it some more. And then reverse the circle. And then straighten out that leg, square off the hips. And then knee to nose. Exhale, three-legged dog. Knee to right elbow, right wrist, right elbow, three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose, bring it across the body to the left elbow, the left wrist, the left elbow, three-legged dog. And then inhale, knee to nose, and drop the foot up in front of the hands. And then straighten that front leg, bring the toes over to the left side, wide-legged forward fold. So slight pigeon toe, just to help you create a nice stable base. And then from there, inhale, flat back, and hinging at the hips, fold forward. So got a few options here. Maybe you walk the fingertips through, try to bring the crown of the head to the mat. Maybe you interlace the hands behind the back. If inversions are in your practice and you'd like to float, find your way there. You've got 5 breaths wherever you are in your practice. Three more breaths. One more breath. And then on the exhale, slowly release wherever you are. And then inhale, flat back, walk the feet and the fingertips to the front of the mat, and then just step it back, downward facing dog. Sorry if that was a little bit confusing. And then inhale the left leg high, point, flex, circle out that ankle, reverse whatever you're doing. And then bend the knee, stack the hips, open up to the left side. If you'd like to take some circles with the knee, big or small. And then reverse. And then straighten out that front leg or that top leg, square off the hips. And then knee to nose. Exhale, three-legged dog. Knee to left elbow, left wrist, left elbow, three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose, bring it across the body to the right elbow, the right wrist, the right elbow, back to three-legged dog. And then inhale, knee to nose, drop the foot in between the hands, straighten out that front leg, and then walk the fingertips and the toes over to the right. So wide-legged forward fold on the other side. Slight pigeon toe, and then inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Maybe switch up what you just did. Take a different variation of the pose. Trick the body, trick the mind. You'd be surprised what would benefit you doing something different. 5 breaths. Three. One more breath. And then on your exhale, slowly release wherever you are. Walk the fingertips and the left toes forward. This will be a better description. And then bring the left foot back to a high plank pose. So drop the knees if you need to. We're gonna hold for 3, 2, 1, and then slow with control, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing. Exhale, push it back, downward facing dog. Then we're gonna drop to the knees, coming into a hero's pose. So you wanna bring the knees together and then the toes a little bit out. Remove the meat from the bones. So just peel it open and then sit in between. So if your hips are tight, I suggest a block and bring that under the bum. It gives you a break on the knees too. If a block doesn't help and you want to take one leg at a time, I can give you guys a halfway point. And then from there, maybe you stay. You're like, okay, I'm feeling it. This is good for me. Stay. Maybe you just slowly start to work the arms back. Staying here. Maybe you find your way onto your elbows or all the way onto your back. Wherever you are, just breathe. 5 breaths. Three breaths. Halfway there, if you're taking the one leg version, switch it up if you'd like. If you're there, just stay where you are. 3 breaths here. One more breath. On the exhale, slowly roll up. And then we're going to bring the legs out in front of us. So moving slowly. We're going to remove the meat from the sit bones so we can really root the sit bones into the mat. And then flex or point the feet. Pick your poison. And then inhale, lift the arms high. And then hinging at the hips, fold forward. So nice and slow. So first it's like belly, chest, then the head falls. So like when nothing else can fall, then let the head go. But then back out just a little bit so you can bring the back flat and lift the head high and then fold from there. So you really want to avoid this big rounding and bring the neck and the head high. So you're working towards getting that belly to the thighs. That's why I'm so big on the compression. It helps you in all of these forward folds. You can slight bend the knees here if you need to too. It does the same thing. 3 breaths. One more breath. And on the exhale, slowly release. And then we're gonna find our way onto our back, keeping our knees high. So maybe wipe off, get some water before you find your way all the way back onto your back. And then once you get there, we're gonna set up for bridge pose. So you want the feet about hip distance apart. And then from there, you want to lift the hips high and tuck the shoulders underneath. You can use the hands to lift the hips high and slightly pull the knees together. So it's just a slight engagement of the glutes. 3 breaths here. One more breath. And then exhale, slowly release. You can windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then we have 2 more rounds. So you can take bridge pose again, or you can take full wheel if that's in your practice. Whatever you decide, pick it now. 3, 2, 1, lift it up. So wherever you are, whatever you decided, just be there fully. It's only a few breaths. The more you lean into the breath, the easier the pose becomes. I know it seems crazy, but it really works like that. Deepen the breath. Slow the mind. One more breath. Exhale, slowly release it down. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, sigh it out, let it go. And then on your next inhale, pick it and go. So lifting the hips, whether you're in bridge or wheel pose, a little bit of thought to it. And same thing, commit. You're only here for a few breaths. You can do anything for a few breaths. Two more. One, exhale, slowly release it down. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side, and then hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Hug yourself like you'd hug your mom or your dad or husband, wife, kid, anyone that you love a lot, but hug yourself a little bit tighter because you love you the most. The relationship you have with you is the most important. So give yourself a little bit more of a squeeze here. And then exhale, release the left leg down. So keeping the right knee into the chest. And then pulling the right knee in and out alongside. So you're tucking the knee into the armpit, coming into that wind removing pose. Just slowing things down. But don't shorten the breath. Don't give up on it yet. 2 more breaths here. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, hug both knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then exhale, release the right leg down, pulling the left knee in towards the chest and then alongside the body. Really compression of the hip flexor on this left side. 2 breaths. One more breath. And on your next inhale, hug both knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then pull the knees wide. We're going to come into happy baby pose. So maybe you grab the back of the thighs or the back of the calves. Happy baby is in your practice. Maybe you grab the outer edges of the feet. And then wherever you are, work towards pulling the tailbone down. And then slight tuck of the chin. So you've got full contact of the spine all the way from the tailbone to the top of the back of your head. And then from there, pull the knees down even farther. Maybe rock from side to side. I'd suggest this because it's like a little bit of a distraction to what's actually happening in our hips. Feel like a little kid rolling around like a roly-poly. 3 more breaths here. One more breath. And then on the exhale, slowly release. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then on the exhale, stretch it out. So hands and feet go in opposite directions, like you're waking up first thing in the morning. You got the whole bed to yourself. You're stretching it all out. And then hug it back in, give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then stretch it out again. Big, long, deep stretch. And then release onto the mat. So we're gonna take pigeon pose on our backs. So supine pigeon. If you have to take it on your normally, upright pigeon, go for it. We'll start on the right side. So on our backs, we're gonna take the right ankle and cross it over the left. And then internally pulling the right knee down. And then thread the arm between the thighs and then pull the left leg in. You can straighten that left leg if you want to play around. Allowing gravity to help you in this. And then settling into the pose. And working the breath. Five breaths. So don't react, just be. Three more breaths on the side. One more breath here. And then on your exhale, slowly starting to release, come out of the pose. And then we're going to find our way onto the other side. So if you're on your back, you just want to stack the left ankle over the right, or vice versa. You already did this side. And then fully committing to the pose. So I know we're almost there. But don't do it to yourself. You're worth every minute of this class, every intention you set at the beginning. Five breaths. Three breaths. One more breath here. On your exhale, slowly release. We're going to find our way into either waterfall or shoulder stand. So your choice. If you're taking waterfall, just bring the arms and the legs up. If you're taking shoulder stand, bring the feet up and then walk the hands up, lift the hips and walk the hands up the back. Just committing to whatever pose you choose. And allowing everything to reverse. 5 breaths. If you're in shoulder stand and you'd like to take plow pose, you can drop the toes behind the head. Deaf man is in your practice and you'd like to take that from plow. You're in waterfall, just be. You're in deaf man's or plow, just slowly coming back to shoulder stand. If you have a block underneath your bum, just remove the block. We're slowly gonna lower. Coming all the way onto our backs. And then coming up onto the elbows, lifting the chest, dropping the head back, coming into fish pose. So just a nice counter here, but keeping the head in line with the neck. So don't just dump it back, have nice control here. The head is heavy. Got a lot of smarts in there. And then on the exhale, slowly release it down to the mat. So I like to give about 5 to 10 long deep breaths to finish your practice however you need. So whatever you need to do to complete your practice. We've got a few moments here. If you feel satisfied, you can find your way to your final resting pose, coming into Shavasana. Just getting settled there. Before you get settled though, sorry, I should tell everyone in the studio I can come around with a cool cloth during Shavasana. So if you'd like one, flip your card to green. If you want me to pass, it's okay, just flip it to red. So just taking the next few moments to finish up. Whatever you need. Maybe wipe down, get some water, maybe a little less fidgets out. And then when you're ready, we'll all come into our final resting pose. So bringing the heels together, letting the toes splay open. Just allowing the body to relax. Completely relax. So relaxing the knees and the hips. Just completely relaxing.
My second visit to India. Yes, everybody. And I said, I can't. My mind is full of judgment. He said, Ramdas, love everybody and tell the truth. Those instructions have been my guide to my sadhana. And my sadhana has led to my soul. souls love each other and tell the truth.
Sometimes things happen, things we don't expect, things we didn't plan on. An event occurs that changes our lives dramatically. The event may be good or bad, desirable or undesirable, fortunate or unfortunate. No matter how we describe it, the impact is just the same. We step off our usual path and go for a roller coaster ride. You may have begun a time of deep transformation, a journey chosen by the soul. Feel all you need to feel. Allow your thoughts to flow. Let your body shift as you go through the curves. Let yourself be transformed. Enjoy the ride, the entire experience, with the twist and the curves and the turns. Scream in fear, cry out in joy, laugh aloud. If you find yourself on a roller coaster, turn it into the ride of your life. So slowly start to bring some consciousness in the body. Slight wiggle of the fingers and the toes. And bring your hands together at your third eye. May we seek truth and recognize it as we experience it. And then bring your hands to your lips. May we speak the truth clearly and share it with all. And then your hands to your heart. May we feel the truth in our hearts and follow the path we know to be good. Thank you guys for showing up for yourselves. This truly is the greatest self-care that you can give yourselves. I thank you guys for showing up for each other. It's amazing to create a community of like-minded people. And I thank you for showing up for me. It's truly a gift to be able to share my practice with you guys every week. I thank you and happy Monday. Thank you guys.